Hello, Math 7 students. Today we're going to be working with Chapter 6, which is Ratios and Proportions. The section we're going to be dealing with is Section 2, and it's titled Rates. Remember, you can pause the video at any time, write down the notes, and then listen for the explanation and copy the rest of the notes as we go through each example. This first page deals with vocab. Again, pause, copy down the vocabulary, and then listen to the explanation. Okay, the first vocab word is rate, a ratio that compares two quantities with different kinds of units. This is very similar to a ratio, hence they're spelled pretty much the same. A ratio, remember we defined earlier as a comparison between some quantities. With a rate, you're just looking at the units, the labels that we put on these ratios. So a rate is where you're comparing two quantities with different units. So that means we could have beats per minute, we could talk about miles per hour, we could also talk about feet per second. These are just a couple examples of rate. Okay? In a unit rate, unit means one. Okay? If you're looking at a unit of measure, it just means one measure. So a unit rate is when the rate is simplified so that it has a denominator of 1. Okay, we're looking at how much for one, whether it be 1 hour, 1 minute, one person, how much money per person, or whichever. So you're always looking for how much for one. That's the key thing for unit rate. Here's our notes for 6.2. This is everything. We're going to be filling in some of this information. Copy down the examples and then listen for the explanation. In example A, Candace earns $280 in 40 hours. What is her hourly pay rate? So in this case, we're hourly. We're talking about how much per hour. Okay? So a unit rate here is what we want to know. We want to know how much for one. So we're looking at her pay rate for 1 hour, okay? Anytime you're dealing with ratios or rates, when you have money in the problem, 99% of the time, you need to put money in the numerator. 99% of the time, if you have time in a problem, like any kind of a ratio, time, like hours or minutes or seconds, time goes in the denominator, okay? In this case, we have both time and money. So we're going to put the money in the numerator, $280, and we're going to put time in the denominator. Like I said, you won't always have time and money in the same problem. But anytime you're dealing with time, put time in the denominator. Anytime a problem deals with money and you're asked to do a ratio or a rate, put that money up in the numerator. Okay? Now that we have a ratio, 280 compared to 40, we're going to go ahead and simplify that ratio because we want to know how much does Candace make in 1 hour. So we're looking at simplifying this fraction. In simplifying, to go from 40 hours down to 1 hour, we must divide by 40. Remember, with ratios and fractions, anytime you simplify a numerator or denominator, you have to do the other one just the same. So if we divide the denominator by 40, we also have to divide the numerator by 40. 280 divided by 40 is 7. Since we were dealing with money in this problem, we're going to put that $ sign where it belongs in front of the 7. $7 for 1 hour. So Candace's hourly rate, and we can write $7 per hour. Okay? Per is that division bar. Whenever we have a division sign, like this, like our ratio, we can use the word per. Okay? Example B, find the better buy. So we've got these dog food prices over here, It gives us the size of the bag. It's a 40-pound bag, a 20-pound bag, or an 8-pound bag. And it also gives us the price for those bags of dog food. We want to find out which one is the better buy. A better buy means it's cheaper for us to purchase. Which one is it better for us to purchase? Which one are we getting more dog food for our dollar? Okay? So I'm just going to scroll down a little bit here so I have some room to write. In the method 1, we're going to solve two methods here. In method 1, we're going to look at the unit price for each of these bags of dog food. In method 2, we're going to look at how we can multiply up to get equal quantities. Either of these two methods is acceptable. Okay? It doesn't mean that one method is better than the other. It's just whichever one is your preference. Okay? In method 1, the unit price for each. Unit price, we just got done talking about up above. Unit price is how much for one. Oops. So I've got down here in green, dollar divided by quantity. So when you take the dollar amount divided by the quantity, that's going to be your unit price. Again, the money goes in the numerator, so that's what we're dividing. So in the first dog food bag, the 40-pound bag, we're going to take $49 and divide it out between those 40 pounds. We're going to find out how much is it for 1 pound if we use that bag. Same thing for the 20-pound bag, and same thing for the 8-pound bag. So when we divide, we've got that money divided by the quantity. In the first one, we have 49 divided by 40. We get 1.225. I know money stops at the penny, at the nearest hundredth, but in this case, when you're doing better by, sometimes it's better to leave a lot of decimal places because you might have to go out to that thousandths place value to make comparisons. So I'm going to leave that little 5 there. I know this rounds up to $1.23, but just in case, when you're making these comparisons, sometimes leave it out to round it out to that nearest, you know, 1,000th or 10,000th or so. So we've got $1 and 0.225. Okay, same with the 20-pound bag. We've got $23.44. We divide that out. $1, and this would be 17 cents if we round it. Okay, so far this one is the cheapest. Let's check out that 8-pound bag. And there's the 8-pound bag at $1.24 if you rounded. See how this one's very close, the 8-pound bag and the 40-pound bag. They're pretty close, $1.22, $1.23 and a half. We've got that extra little half a cent. So in this case, we have our better buy is right here with the 20-pound bag. Okay. Now, what happens if maybe you don't have a calculator or, you know, you're not quite sure which way to divide or whichever? That's where we can look at method 2. Method 2 is another way of comparing prices. In this case, we're going to multiply to get equal quantities. So since it's a 40-pound bag, a 20-pound bag, and an 8-pound bag, here's what we can do. We can take that 40-pound bag, there we go. The 40-pound bag is at $49. If we double the price for the 20-pound bag, that means we're going to take that $23.44 and double it. We would get the equivalent pound bag. We'd get a 40-pound bag if we double it. The same works for that 8-pound bag. What if they bought 5 of those 8-pound bags? That would also equal 40 pounds. So what we're doing is we're just taking those same prices and we're increasing. So the 40-pound bag, of course, is still going to be 49. Sorry about that interruption. So the 40-pound bag, $49. If we buy 2 of these 20-pound bags, that would also equal 40 pounds. This one would now cost us $46.88 when we double the price. What if we buy 5 of those 8-pound bags? We would be paying $49.40. So here again, you can see that our cheapest, our better buy, is right here again with that 20-pound bag. Okay, thanks for watching the video. Have a great day.